This is Digital Anarchist at JFrog Swamp Up San Francisco 2019.
Hey everyone, it's Alan Shimel for Digital Anarchist, DevOps.com. And we are at Swamp Up in San Francisco, here with the JFrog teams. And we've got our first interview started. I'm happy to have Shawn Doyle, CEO, ReleaseTEAM.
That's right.
Got it.
Thank you, Alan.
Hey Shawn, welcome.
Thank you.
So Shawn, let's start with this. I don't know if everyone in our audience is familiar with ReleaseTEAM. Tell us a little bit about ReleaseTEAM.
So this is our 20th year in business. We're
wow,
a professional
startup.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we're a 20-year-old startup. We started with release engineering and build automation, and we've over the years expanded into all things DevOps.
Wow.
We do professional services. We follow our customers. Our consultants are all over North America, and we go to where our customers are.
Fantastic. So Shawn, were you one of the founders of ReleaseTEAM?
I am the founder.
So you're doing
yes.
this for 20 years?
Yes. Yeah.
So look, there's a lot of people sitting out here today, and I bet you they're thinking, how do you stay at one thing for 20 years? How did you decide this is what you wanted to do?
Well, I had been doing it for a number of years prior to starting my own company. I decided after going through a couple mergers and acquisitions that are the larger companies that I could do this myself and help out a lot more other organizations. So I took part of my team from that company and founded my own smaller consulting company, and then we've been growing ever since.
Fantastic. And you know what? I have a similar background too. I think a lot of us out there have seen the M&As, done through the startup and the ventures and the big company thing, and said, you know what, I could probably do better. I think I could do better. So, Shawn, I would imagine, over 20 years, you've seen a lot of water under the bridge.
Yeah.
When did DevOps kind of come onto your horizon, and when did you kind of, go all in on DevOps, so to speak?
It was about roughly 10 years ago when we started hearing the buzz around DevOps and started looking at things beyond process automation and build automation. And then we started partnering with a lot of other companies in the DevOps space, like JFrog and other companies, to help bring their solutions to our customers.
Got it. And you mentioned partnering with JFrogs. Tell us a little bit more about that.
This is about our 5th year in partnership with JFrog. We help them out on the government side. Probably about half of our business is government related, big Department of Defense customers, and we help JFrog out in that area. We help them on the GSA schedule as well.
Okay.
So that's kind of how we help JFrog. It's mainly around the Artifactory product, but the other products play a role in it as well.
Sure. So let's talk a little bit about DevOps if we can, Shawn.
All right.
Sounds like you do a lot of work with government.
We do probably a little over 50% of our government work.
What I often hear from people is, oh, this sounds great. Number one, how do we get started? Number two, my God, this is harder than I thought it was going to be. Number three, I need help, right?
Yeah.
And so I ask ourselves, how do you identify sort of the customer and where he or she is in the, or they are in the need cycle?
We like to start off with an assessment of understanding what the customer, where they're at today, what their goals are, and how to achieve their goals. And are those goals of value to the business? And a lot of times we find out that they're not of value to the business, and so we help them try to find out what their value really is.
Sure.
And then from there, what problems are they having and how to solve them? Is it a tool-related problem? Do we need to help them with the tools, or is it more of a process, or is it a cultural problem? And often it's a mix of all three of them.
Sure.
Especially in our government customers, often they're looking at the commercial success of DevOps and wondering how that's going to map to their projects. And often there's a lot of core values that map, but the end goal is different.
Right. I think that's one of the issues that we see, and this is a technology problem. It's not even necessarily purely a DevOps problem, but what I see is, people, shiny trinket syndrome, it's the hot new cool thing. Oh yeah, we should do some of that because it's the hot new cool thing.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily for everyone, nor is it the panacea. How do you let them down easy? when maybe, DevOps isn't the right answer for them, let's say.
Sometimes it's difficult to let them down easy. Often we'll go into a customer and they're 100% sold that a particular problem is their problem, and they already have a set solution that they saw out in the whole DevOps world. And it's not going to help them. It's not going to add value immediately. It's not going to add value in the future. But we can go through our assessment process and understand and find out what will add value to their process. For example, we had a customer that was 100% sold that their build automation was the problem. They couldn't get builds out fast enough. Their builds were taking 48 hours. Definitely a problem.
Yeah.
But the bigger problem was their testing took 2 months. So if we could speed their builds up, does that really help their value?
Right.
No.
This is a sort of classic bottleneck resource constraint.
Exactly.
Like the goal and of course the Phoenix project. And it amazes me, Shawn, how oftentimes people, they see this problem, but they don't realize that's not their bottleneck.
Exactly. And if they improve that or remove that bottleneck, it's just going to make the real bottleneck worse.
Well, but the flip side of it is that it makes the real bottleneck more obvious to them.
Yeah.
Right. Now it's somewhat of a wasted cycle, but sometimes you need to get hit between the eyes with things.
Yeah.
Right, before you realize it's real. So, have you done swamp ups before?
Yeah, this is our 4th one.
Oh, okay.
So, we did 3 up north, and this is our first one down here in San Francisco.
Well, north is relative. It's not like when we say up north in San Francisco, people think Toronto now because of the basketball. But we're, they're the true north.
Yeah, we're not the real north yet.
Right. North is Napa Valley. It's just a short car ride. So, what do you like about Swamp Up?
Oh, I enjoy Swamp Up quite a bit. It's a little bit smaller than some of the larger conferences that we go to.
Yeah.
When we first went to we went to the first Swamp Up 4 years ago, we were in the pattern of doing the big IBM conferences, and it was just a breath of fresh air. The access to the JFrog people is just outstanding compared to some of the bigger conferences we've been to.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And what about like the attendees here? I think it's about 500, 550 people.
Okay.
But are they like squarely in your sweet spot, you think, or?
Yeah, I would say so. Say so. In the more modern tools, so like we're not supporting some of the old legacy stuff anymore. The newer tools around, especially in the software configuration management area, they need things like Artifactory. Before, when you're talking something like a Perforce or SVN or even a ClearCase, you'd version everything. No. And with Git, you can't do that. You need to have something to augment it like Artifactory.
Right. So. In many ways, we are seeing what I call almost like not a second generation or even a third generation within DevOps, but we're seeing a maturation, a continuing evolution where people aren't necessarily getting into it just because it's cool. They have better visibility into what they want to do. But we're also seeing it overlaid over like the new stack, if you will, right? Kubernetes and Istio and serverless and almost
definitely
moving one
explosion.
Right, one step above the hypervisor, if you will. And how's that? What effects that had on the business?
Well, it definitely has stretched our consultants to learning all the different cloud platforms in Kubernetes, where before we were more cemented into CI and CD.
Right.
And now all our CD type jobs, our continuous delivery and continuous deployment is all cloud-based, for our non-government customers.
Right.
But we do a lot of AWS government cloud.
Yeah, there's GovCloud, right?
Yeah.
And we're seeing more of that. And look, I'm just back last month from Barcelona where at Cloud Native Con, KubeCon. This stuff is just exploding.
It is. Yeah.
And I mean, the take-up rate, the adoption rate is so much faster than even it was for cloud.
Sure. Yeah.
You know,
definitely.
back 15 years ago, or whatever it was. Where do you think that bodes for the future for ReleaseTEAM?
Oh, I think we're just going to be doing more and more stuff that's just cloud native.
Yeah.
You know, we at first we saw, you know, you deploy to the cloud, and then you started testing in the cloud, and I think we're definitely seeing a lot of customers actually doing development in the cloud. So you know, they spin up their build servers, they spin up their deployment servers out in cloud space.
Yep.
And we're seeing that almost with every customer, you know, even the government cloud stuff.
Excellent. All right, Shawn, we're about out of time. I want to thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us here on Digital Anarchist. Good luck at Swamp Up. All right.
Thank you. Thanks, Alan.
All right. ReleaseTEAM here at Swamp Up in San Francisco. This is Alan Shimel for the Digital Anarchist on DevOps.com. Have a great day, everyone.